It's the Sleepers Podcast. It is Monday, August 4th. A new month is here. A new week is here. A new episode of your favorite podcast is here. I'm your host, Greg Waddell. I'm here with one of my favorite co-hosts, Dion Hill-Ford. That boy D Hill is in the building. Dion, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We got to record 3 times this week, G.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's special to me.
What does that mean, do you think? Does that mean like we did something right to position ourselves to work together again? Does that mean that our entire team is somehow letting us down and we don't know?
There's a world they all hate us too.
Yeah, we're good chip on our shoulder, guys. So we could paint this as like we have an us against the rest of sleepers mentality.
I kind of love that. Like, I feel like that would bring the best out of us. I don't know what it would do for everybody else, but I do think it'll bring the best out of us.
Yeah, as much as I love going to war with my guys, sometimes I do need to step aside, and you are excluded from this. You know I'll never be against you in anything. Um, it would be really fun to go to war against my guys. I think the guys that we've built, they would be a fun group to go to war against.
Oh, we would torment them. Fun Final Four story for everybody. G and I are always aligned with everything. And
Yep.
so we were doing the G and I thing where we're in alignment, bouncing back and forth between each other on Saturday. One point Saturday afternoon, Cart goes, I don't like hanging out with you two when it's just you two because I'm excluded from everything.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic because I think if I'm not there, you and Cart thrive in that way. And if you're not there, me and Cart thrive in that way. But yeah, when Cart is there and it's you and I, it just sort of takes precedent. It's strange. And Cart's never been in that spot with me. Like in any other social relationship, he becomes sort of my guy. But when it's you and me, you're my guy. I don't know what to do with it. I'm just really now fixated on the idea of if I needed to become opposition to our own organization, it would be like I have a lot of different oppositions, right? There's other quote unquote enemies, and like, ooh, those guys don't like us. Ooh, this is going on. None of them are really all that fun to oppose. But like going up against Cart and JK and Riley, I think would be pretty fun. Like Booby's in the mix now. Jay Hart's in the mix. It'd be kind of fun.
Booby scares me. He's a wild card. He's a wild card. Booby scares me.
Booby probably could take us down and we wouldn't even see it coming. Yeah, maybe we need to do like a sleepers heroes versus villains season. And how do you think, how would we mix this up? You know, you and I were talking about how we're both fans of the challenge. Survivor's basically a spinoff of that type of format. But like if we were going to split up sleepers as an entity and do a team of heroes and a team of villains, good guys versus bad guys, who's on which side here?
I feel like Cart has to be on the good guy's side, right? Like Cart is,
Really?
I mean, I think in this, like me, you, like the sleepers, the content creators aspect of it, maybe not. But Cart's easily like the most like likable guy, I would say, on the channel.
He definitely has the highest approval rating, I would say. So in that sense, he probably belongs. And Riley is definitely on the good guys team, like
Yeah.
undeniably a good guy. So does that make you and I on the bad guys team, the
Yeah,
villains?
it does. And I think unfortunately for us, it means JK comes with us. And I think we would have some inner turmoil. But if me, you, and JK are on the same page, nastiest trio I think the world's ever seen.
Booby seems like a hero right now too to our fans. So Booby new socials guy would be on the good guys team with Cart and Riley. Jay Hart somewhere in the middle, maybe playing both sides. Maybe he's the swing vote between all of this, you know?
TJ Lavin.
There we go. That would make sense. All right, this has been fun. Speaking of Booby, so Booby's now been our socials guy. We announced that he won Sleepers Got Talent on Friday. Very excited to get Booby in the mix. Dion knows this behind the scenes, but one of my favorite parts of working with Booby, which I think did make sense for him to be the winner compared to some of the other contestants, is I think Booby's a very fun character to just tell stories about. Like I think I said that in the evaluation process of like it's almost like Guy where there's all these crazy chaotic things going on that are just funny to make content out of the fact that he exists. Let's look behind the scenes at Booby's first day after winning Sleepers Got Talent quickly. Had a nice phone call with him, informed him that he won. Had another phone call with him to talk through logistics of what the day-to-day expectations will be. Booby asked us to set some clear day-to-day expectations, like this is what I want, and that's a totally fair ask. We were like, "Yep, we got you. We'll do this." Shortly thereafter, Booby puts an awesome-looking graphic out right away. Just a spelling error. Just the first headline, I forget exactly what word it was, but the head, like in the header, one of the main three words that had a spelling error in it. None of us even noticed it because the graphic looks so good. But Booby himself noticed it and then texted me on the side and said, "My bad, should I delete? Grammar, not my strong suit." So that prodded me to then say to you guys, hell yeah, our new socials guy says that grammar is not his strong suit. This will be fun. And then shortly after that, a few hours later, after Booby once again made a bunch of great pieces of content, great graphics, couple things he put up for us that were doing well, engagement is high. Booby then posted something that was just a picture of Obi Toppin, and it was like, let's put some respect on Obi Toppin's name. He's the only player with 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and a 4-year degree in NCAA history. And it was up for like 10 minutes. No one was interacting with it. And then someone responded and was like, unless this is like a meme that I'm missing the point on, none of this is true. Obi Toppin only played 2 years. He did not graduate. He came nowhere close to 2,000 points or 1,000 rebounds. So I screenshotted it because that's right. It's completely false. I screenshotted it and sent it to the group. It was just like, Booby, what's going on here? Come to find out, the man Boob himself, Titty Man Boob, decided hours into his first day to set up a chat GPT driven series of automated posts that, in his own words, quote, passed the eye test to him. I have no idea what that means. None of us have an idea what that means. That is not at all what he did on his audition day. And in the end, Boom deleted them. And just after night one was like, my bad, I'll be better. So, want to make it clear, I'm all the way in on Booby still. In fact, I'm more fascinated by him than ever before, but had no idea we were going to be automating posts, let alone 3 hours in automate posts when that's not something he showed on his social day at all.
Yeah, so Booby doesn't know this. Him and I have a little beef at the moment. Um, I sent him a congratulatory text. I got no response.
Hmm. He might not know who you are. Have you considered that?
No,
Like,
I said because in the group chat I came up with a bunch of nicknames for him built around boobs, and then I said this is Dion, by the way. I wanted to say this is Cart originally, but I figured I figured I'll take the heat for it, and then like an hour later, I was like, dang, I just came up with all these nicknames for this kid. I should probably congratulate him on winning the competition too. So I sent him a little congratulatory text, no response. That was tough, left me on red. I also want to point out you came into the group chat of like me, you, Cart, Riley, JK with what was going on with the grammar stuff. I was in a meeting, so I couldn't respond to it. I come out the meeting, read the group chat. The only response you got was Riley changing the name of the group chat so he doesn't get confused.
yeah, so this isn't all on Boob because Boob very clearly asked, like, just give me direction, please. I do a lot better with direction than when I have to freelance. To which I was like, yes, every day we'll tell you what we want graphics videos for. But then just like, I don't know, in my head, I was being nice. I was like, by the way, like, you are creative, you have free reign, try things, do whatever you want. But we'll give you direction on exactly what we want. You don't have to do anything beyond that. If you want to, go ahead. I did not mean go ahead and automate posts that are factually completely incorrect in ChatGPT. But again, gotta let our guy rock a little bit. We're letting Boob rock. We're feeling out some Boob right now. The issue was that Carter and Riley recorded on Booby's first day. You and I were not involved. And even though in the group chat it very clearly said, hey guys, once you're done, if there's anything you want a graphic or video for, please tell Booby what ones it should be. Those guys sent nothing in. And then Boob at 1:45 in the morning, I'm finding out Booby is a late night Boob. Boob likes to stay up late and work, which I totally respect. At 1:45 a.m. texted and said, what should I do for tomorrow? Never got anything. No response. So, yeah, this morning I finally responded. It was just like, I don't even know what was recorded, so I can't help you there. And Riley and Cart both quickly responded and were like, what are we supposed to do? So yeah, safe to say, our entire operation figuring out how to work together right now. 3 years into this, we have not much structure and no plan, but somehow, some way, we're still getting it done, Dion.
I love Booby asked for direction. Riley sent an audio recording of his QB cadence for if he was ever under center for the Cowboys.
Yep.
That's so sleepers, by the way. It's just so sleepers.
Honestly, the one thing I will say I'm very happy with and proud of right now is everyone involved is playing their best version of themselves to the fullest. Now, we may have assembled a roster that it looks an awful lot like last year's Kansas team, where none of the pieces fit at all, and it's just unbelievably, undeniably clunky. But for now, at least, we're having a lot of fun with this.
I think Booby got the full sleepers experience his first day, though, in what to expect moving forward. So if there is one positive takeaway, I don't think he can be surprised by anything ever again.
We should add to this, the world almost never knew that Booby won because producer JK, who is currently on the fourth day of his vacation right now, don't worry, there's 4 more days too. JK's out, and JK was leaving for vacation on Friday. And on Thursday, we had recorded the announcement that Booby won. And I sent it to JK and said, hey, just schedule this for 9 a.m. on Friday so that that's like our official announcement, conclusion of Sleepers Got Talent. Wake up Friday morning, 7:30 a.m. to a text from JK that says, I'm out for my vacation on the way to the airport. Have a great week, brother. Good job this week. And then I checked YouTube real quick. The Booby announcement is nowhere to be found. Just didn't do it, didn't schedule it. So had to hit JK with the, hey, really sorry to do this as you're leaving for vacation, but did you get that done? To which JK said, nope, I'll do it right now on the way to the airport. So yeah, all over the place, you could say, but in the end, shout out to JK. Got it done on the way to the airport. Jay Hart, by the way, producing. So if you're wondering what happened to Jay Hart, it's still a prove it week for Jay Hart here. He's the only person we would trust to produce with Jacob out. And as far as I know, Jay Hart's actually crushed the producing this week. So honestly, weirdly enough, if we were doing Sleepers power rankings right now in terms of like my personal satisfaction with them, I think Jay Hart is number one, Dion is two, and then everybody else is fighting for three.
I do want to snitch on myself a little bit with the Booby announcement thing. So we're still in the early stages of the stream. No one really watches. 100% spoiled it on the stream last night by accident.
Hmm.
I go,
Okay.
so what everybody think about Booby's first day? Vinay goes, I don't think you were supposed to say that. And I said, say what? And then so that we moved on immediately. So we moved on immediately. We completely pivoted. But I will say, one or two people put, I think Vinay and Fan put this in the chat. They're like, yeah, we knew Booby won when he had to delete the tweet.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's also right after winning and getting access to our socials. Booby posted not lurking anymore, dot, 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 with a Jaguar, which I immediately deleted and said, hey, we want to announce this tomorrow. We want people to watch this. Dion, I think I'm losing my mind, man. In the end of all of this, though, do want to say, while I make jokes about our entire team, round of applause for our entire team. The month of July was crazy. Our best off-season month we have ever had on the channel. And I think that's a direct result of Sleepers Got Talent participants crushing it for us. This past week, literally almost every single day, we did like 38,000 YouTube views, which is better than we were doing in March, 2 Marches ago in March Madness. So the idea that in the middle of the deadest part of college basketball season, we are a college basketball company producing content that people care about enough to interact with that much, it's really, really good sign. And it's a credit to everybody involved, Dion, Riley, Carter, myself. JK certainly has crushed it for us. And even though I make jokes about it, is well deserving of his vacations that he's taking. Jay Hart, total utility guy who is willing to do anything for the team. And we love that. And his role is going nowhere right now. And then, yeah, Booby's going to be a great ad because despite us trying to figure out how to work with him and help him, and we've even let him down a little bit early, he makes stuff that just looks so damn good and is driving such great engagement on socials. I'm very excited for what that looks like. So once again, shout out to all the Sleepers Got Talent people. Thank you to everybody listening and interacting with us. It's been an awesome month. And honestly, looking back on it, to have that happen in a month where we lost one of our key members in Ralph and still be able to deliver content that feels like it's performing awesome is like a pretty big testament to everybody still here. So exciting stuff. Let's get to the show. You want to kick us off with a YouTube comment today?
I got you. Let me find it. So Nomad Boiler, I have an idea for a new segment related to coaching. Name best coaching trees, only former than only current coaches. Surprisingly lacking trees would be interesting to hear after too.
I would need to do a lot of research on that, but I like the idea behind it. But like outside of knowing like Shrewsbury was a painter guy, I do get lost on exactly where all of these coaches and their trees originated from.
I know Coach K has a good coaching tree. So I would start it in my list probably right there.
Yeah, but that's fun. We should research that. That would be a fun topic in August at some point. Okay, to the Discord. Join the Discord if you'd like. Let's start with Bright Star Jones, who says, in regards to the top coaches discussion, I think it should be noted that Matt Painter's Purdue has only beat a higher seed team in the NCAA tournament one time in the last 15 years. Does that matter to you?
Hold on. What was the question? My bad.
Matt Painter at Purdue has only beaten a higher seeded team in the NCAA tournament one time in the last 15 years. So basically, as the underdog in the NCAA tournament, he only has one win in 15 years.
Yeah, so I got confused by the question because yeah, that doesn't matter to me at all because it means he was always like a really high seed.
That's what I'm thinking too. Also, it's an interesting note, but falling on deaf ears when I know that Bright Star Jones is an Illinois fan. I can't hear about nitpicking March results from an Illinois. Like it's just right message, wrong person, I think. Dreadhead Dev Royal to King says Reed Bailey commitment video for Dr. Sanity. Come on, he's probably going to be a starter. Have a good day though. Find God. Dreadhead Dev Royal to King, I love you. I do love you. My favorite name in the Discord. We are months past Reed Bailey's commitment. We are not going to do a Reed Bailey commitment video. There is a video on the channel from Friday where we do praise Reed Bailey. So hopefully that can satisfy Doctor's needs.
Uh, I just love that Dreadhead Devereaux the King ends everything by saying "Find God," not "Call God." It's "Find God."
It's special. The Pat signal says Pat Kelsey was recently quoted saying, "We ain't ducking smoke," in response to a question about the difficult non conference schedule. Kelsey made it known that when the committee is trying to see Louisville, they won't be able to highlight lack of competition after the brutal 8 seed last year. As of now, Louisville will play Tennessee, Indiana, Baylor, Memphis, Cincinnati, and Arkansas. Also, the rivalry against Trent Noah and Dem. Can you rank those games from best to worst? And can you predict Louisville's record for those games? Lot of asks here. I think we can do some of this, but just quickly, a note from me. So you want us to acknowledge Pat Kelsey's scheduling incredibly difficult? Is that what I'm reading here?
Yeah, I think he wants us to acknowledge Pat Kelsey has a tough schedule.
Okay, so let's quickly run through the teams that he named quickly. Tennessee, not top 10 preseason. Indiana, not top 25 preseason. Baylor, fringe top 25. I don't think top 25 preseason. Memphis, certainly not top 25 preseason. Cincinnati, certainly not top 25 preseason. Arkansas, roughly 15th preseason. You play zero preseason top 10 teams other than Kentucky. And you want praise for how difficult the schedule is. And you play, let me check notes again, zero preseason top 10 teams that aren't Kentucky.
Yeah, so your whole schedule is built around the one team you didn't want to acknowledge, essentially. And I don't know Kentucky's schedule. Is Louisville the best team that they play in the non-con? I feel like it isn't.
I would imagine not. They got the Champions Classic game at minimum, and I don't know what the schedule is without looking at it. But
Uh,
look, it is not a bad schedule by any means. You schedule a bunch of high major talents. You don't know that Indiana's going to have a new coach. Baylor's going to be down. Memphis is going to like all those things are random. But there's just not a lot of elite teams here. Now it's a schedule you should win a lot of games against, and I do think that will help you with the committee because they're not going to view it as a negative schedule. But also the reality here is you're in the ACC. Until the ACC gets better, you're going to have the schedule ding from the committee because you're playing 20 games a year against like Wake Forest, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I'm not that moved by their schedule when the whole thing is built around Kentucky, essentially, a game that you have to play too.
Let's predict the record, though, just to give Pat Signal one of the things he asked for. Tennessee, Indiana, Baylor, Memphis, Cincinnati, Arkansas, Kentucky. That's 7 games. I don't know where they're at. He just listed them, but I would think they go 5-2 in that 7 game stretch.
Me too. I think on paper they go 5-2. I think they lose to Kentucky and then either Indiana or Arkansas.
Now, I think there's a world they go 7-0, 6-1, very reasonable. In fact, isolate any of these individual games, and I think I would probably pick Louisville, but I just think it's safe to say they'll split 2 of the 4 against Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, and then Indiana Baylor. Like lose 2 of those 5 feels reasonable. All Hail the Pope says Louisville is ducking smoke by trying to play Kentucky without JQ, also by saying teams like Memphis, Cincinnati, and Baylor. I'm just going to let Kentucky and Louisville fans argue in our comments today. That sound good?
That sounds good to me.
All Hail the Pope says we should talk to KSR, see if we can get a peek at the best basketball facilities. Kentucky. Sometimes I do wonder how KSR feels because it feels like we are basically talking about things Kentucky reports through KSR every single day on this channel. And I know with other teams and fan bases, that's annoyed some of the beat writers. It's like, why do these guys just to make content get to make content about our content? But I mean, we always go out of our way to try and praise KSR. I am literally a fan of KSR. So I don't know how they feel about us. I know Jacob likes us, but I don't know how everybody else feels.
I really like KSR, and I do want to volunteer this for them. If they want to make content about Booby, they can.
Yeah, that's the thing. If people want to make content about us making content about their content, like we support it.
Yeah.
So, oh man, Sleeve Nash says I saw a video where CMB was locking dudes up like Evan Mobley, Tari Eason, Spencer Din. Are we sleeping on him? Are we sleeping on Colin Murray Boyles?
I mean, he was the ninth pick in the draft. I don't think anybody's sleeping on that.
I'm not buying Colin Murray Boyles stock, but I'm not surprised that defensively he's competing with anybody. I think he's a dog, and Evan Mobley's probably the only name on that list that it surprises me that Murray Boyles was able to stop.
Wait, he was locking them dudes up? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what Sleeve says.
yeah, Sleep, can we break this list down? I mean, Evan Mobley, not like an offensive guy that he, at least at the NBA level, he hasn't popped as an individual offensive scorer. Tari Eason, same thing. Spencer Dinwiddie, respectfully, dog, that contract came in crypto.
All Hail the Pope says, who do you think will be number one on Ken Palm in offense and then defense? Fun question. Any ideas?
Louisville or Purdue number one for offense, Houston or Duke number one for defense.
I think I'm going to take Purdue number one offense, and I think I'm going to take Houston number one defense. It just feels safe.
Yeah.
Okay, last question today from Jeep Man says this is totally a speculative question. Can you guys give me your all-time starting 5+6 man for Michigan, Michigan State, and Illinois prior to and including 2000? Also, would like to hear your opinion on how far you think those teams would get in today's NCAA tournament. I will start by saying all-time starting 5. All 3 of these teams should win today's NCAA tournament if we do this correctly. But let's work together on this, Dion. You want to do Michigan State first?
Yeah, we could do Michigan State first.
I mean, all time would have to be Magic Johnson at point. I
Yeah.
think you want Draymond at the 4, and then I think you've got to get some shooting around them somehow.
Would you want Jaren in it?
You could put Jaron at the 5 for shooting and shot blocking.
Yeah.
And then you could take Cassius, but I don't know that he plays all that well with Magic. I would honestly advocate for like this might be stretchy. Denzel Valentine, and then it sounds crazy, but for chemistry purposes, Bryn Forbes.
I don't hate Bryn. I was gonna say the two I was gonna advocate for were Gary Harris and Jay Rich.
Yeah, I think honestly, Bryn probably doesn't belong, but him and Zell had like that whole teammate thing, and it would work in a team in between Magic and Draymond, I think, really well. But I think Zell should be there. Zell gives you secondary play making, 45% shooting. Him and Magic as your backcourt with Draymond and Jaren as your front court's great. You can pick the 3 in between them, Gary or Jay Rich, probably.
I think you got to go Gary just because I think with Denzel, Draymond, Magic, you need somebody that can just space the floor.
Yeah. Okay. So Magic, Zell, Gary, Draymond, Jaren. Yes, that team would be the favorite to win a national championship.
Absolutely.
All right. To Michigan, It's going to be Trey Burke at point. It's going to be.
Franz.
It gets tough with Michigan. You could take Franz and Mo. You could just Wagner brothers it up. Stauskas and Poole are in the mix if you're just doing recent Michigan players. But the reality is, most Michigan players are going to be like before I was born.
Oh, who are we kidding? Jalen Rose, Chris Webber,
It would literally be the Fab Five, but with Trey Burke at point guard and then
Franz at the three.
Glenn Rice at the three.
Ooh, I forgot about what about Glenn Rice Jr.? No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
going Burke, Jalen Rose, Glenn Rice, Chris Webber, Juwan Howard.
For sure. And that team smokes that Michigan State team, by the way, in
Yeah,
my
I don't know about that, but that's my national title pick for sure. If they're together, Illinois. I mean, I'm definitely taking D Brown, Darren Williams.
yeah, D and Darren, I think started off.
Sorry, Io, we can't take you, but
You can play Iowa at the three.
yeah, just do the three guard thing instead of Luther Head.
Because I mean, Io realistically, like he's like small, like a point guard, plays like a three though.
I think I Terrence Shannon would be here. I kind of like Shannon at the three instead of the four, but then next to that for me, I will be honest, I don't have a ton of pulse on long-term Illinois players like pre D and Darren. Kofi would be my five.
Kofi was going to be my 5-2. Honestly, I don't hate D, Darren, Io, TSJ, Kofi.
Let's just do that. And that one's a little flimsier, but I do think they'd be the favorite. Yeah.
I think they're the favorite, but they lose. The other two are favorites that win, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Fun exercise. Thank you for that comment. Join the Discord. We appreciate it. We read the comments every single day. We are brought to you by nobody. That's right. We have no sponsors for August right now. Feel like this happens about once a year where we just kind of come up on an end of a sponsor contract and we don't have anything lined up. We'll say behind the scenes, we have some negotiations ongoing, working with an agency actually that's supposed to get us some deals for football season. There are some prospective clients that want to work with us for football previews and recaps and all of that. So more to come. But for now, we have no sponsor. And that means if you're listening to this, if you have a product, if you have anything you would like us to promote, we are available and we will negotiate a price. This happened last year where we ended up working with a great, awesome heating and cooling company in the state of Indiana. So if you're a Sleepers fan, this could be your time. You want to promote the show, you want to sponsor us for the month of August, reach out to us. thesleepersmedia@gmail.com is where we are available. Otherwise, we will be liable to making up ad reads. And I get really afraid of Carter when we have to make up ad reads. So,
I think we should be sponsored by Booby for the next month.
yeah, I don't like the sounds of that. Hit us up if you want to change that. Otherwise, we'll see you with a new sponsor for football season. Let's get to the show. Topic one today is one of those topics I just spend way too much time thinking about. It becomes a little seed in my brain at bedtime when I'm feeding Banks, and then all of a sudden it's 3.5 hours later and I'm going through the mental exercise of it. I want to go through all of our favorite programs, and I basically want to determine this upcoming year's team is the best version of that program since blank, since when. Let's build some excitement. Let's really try and contextualize how much better certain teams have gotten since whenever. We will mention, I think there will be a few teams we bring up here that our answer is since last year because we think they were better last season than they are this upcoming season. But in general, want to try and define how good or how long it's been since we've seen a team this good for some of our favorite programs. Do you want to steer on which teams we do for this, or how do you want to approach this?
I think the most fun ones are gonna be Michigan. I think the answer to Michigan is gonna be really fun. I think the answer to Kentucky is gonna be really fun. Louisville is gonna be really fun. The answer to Purdue, Houston, Duke is very easy for me. It's like last year, the year before last year.
There's a couple easy ones that might this exercise might honestly be a boring listen because we might have a lot of easy ones to point to. But let's start with Michigan since you said that would be fun and that's my team. I think I'll surprise you with my answer, but a lot of preseason hype. Highest this team has been ranked in the preseason, I think really since probably before Juwan Howard got here, or maybe his second year in the program. The best going through Ken Palm history, Juwan had one elite team. They were third nationally in 2021. That was Hunter Dickinson's freshman year, Franz's sophomore year. They lost in the Elite Eight, but they won the Big Ten regular season. That team was nasty. That's my answer. I don't expect Michigan this year to be better than that 2021 team.
I was 100% going to say the Franz team too.
Okay. All right. So we're aligned then. I thought you could stretch it. If you went back past that, then I think you're going back to one of the final Beeline teams, either the one that made the national title appearance or like the Iggy Brazdakis team. This is a crazy note. Per Ken Pom efficiency margin, Juwan Howard had a better team than any John Beeline Michigan team.
Yeah, that is crazy. But also not that crazy. I feel like that Franz team was insanely talented.
And it was a season they only played 28 games because of COVID and they had cancellations and also the memory of it they lost when Isaiah Livers missed the whole postseason. If senior Isaiah Livers had been healthy on that team, there is a world that they get by UCLA and we're looking at them against Baylor and Gonzaga in the Final Four. I think they were that good, and I think that's the answer when fully healthy. That team was nasty. Who was next? What was the other one you thought would be interesting?
Michigan State.
Last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
You think last year's team's better than this year's team? Like for sure, for certain?
For me, it's comfortable, but I've been surprised before.
I think it's comfortable knowing what Jace became. I think they're going into the season with similar question marks, though.
Last year's team started 18 and 2, 9 and 0 in the Big Ten. I just can't process this year's team doing that.
I agree. I agree. I don't think they have the Jace Richardson that's going to come alive to kind of like steer the ship a little bit, but I do think there are some similar question marks. So, but I would say last year too.
Yep. Okay. Let's just get through the Big Ten here. I don't know how difficult these ones will be. Purdue.
The Edie national championship team.
So I think there is an argument that this year's team could be better than Edie's last year at Purdue.
I 100% think it. I 100% think it is. Is there an answer though? Like if it isn't that year, like what do we say? Like no answer?
I mean, it would have to be, I mean, either the Hummel, Jawan, Etwan years, but I think the Edie team was probably better than those teams.
Yeah,
There is an argument if you take this year's team over Edie's team, you would be saying this is the best Purdue team ever.
I think it is.
So you would take this year's upcoming season. I mean, let's just call it what it is. They have the preseason National Player of the Year, just like
Mhm.
they had with Edie. This time they have a second All American. This time they have an international stud. They have more depth, I think. They have better role players. So it's basically, do you think Edie's greatness transcends the added boost some of the role player supporting cast has this year?
If Braden Smith is everything we believe he is, and the general consensus believes he is, I'm not going to say he's going to replicate what Edie did, but his impact should be similar. I think everybody else's impact far outweighs what Edie had around him. And I know he also had Braden Smith technically on that team.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of people who get really mad at us and say we're crazy if we end up saying we think this year's team will be better than Painter's Edie team. So I'm not going to be bold enough to do it. I'll take the Edie team over this, but I think this should be the second best Purdue team I've seen in my life.
I'm going to do it and say it's the best. And I'm going to challenge Purdue fans by saying, don't hit me with the we're going to win a national championship stuff if you don't think this team's better.
Yeah, okay.
You
All
can't have
right.
your cake and eat it too sometimes.
There you have it. All right. Let's do Illinois. This one's interesting.
This one is interesting. I
So
don't
I
know.
think there's an argument last year's Illinois team is better than this year's team.
I was going to say, I don't know how much better I think this team is than last year's team.
I mean, at the furthest back we would go is just the Terrence Shannon Jr. 24 year. They're not better than that team.
For sure. I definitely don't think they're better than 2014.
But the question is, would we take this year's version over last year? And you talked up the experience of the new guys they added versus playing the youth game with Casperus and Will Riley.
We're not just talking like on paper, we're talking about like the result of we think the team will have to, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Last year's team's better on paper. This year's team will have a better result.
I think that's 100% where I agree. So I am going to give this upcoming year's team the nod. They will be a better basketball team than last year. I don't know how. Probably just Casperus won't throw the ball out of bounds all the time. But yeah, it only goes back 2 years because the Terrence Shannon Jr. team was awesome. All right, let's move elsewhere. Let's try and find something else here.
What about Kentucky?
We can do Kentucky. I don't think you're going to like my answer.
Who is it last year?
I think last year was better.
Really? I was gonna go back a little farther. I was gonna go back to the 2019 team.
Okay, talk me through the logic there.
And going all the way back to 2019.
Yeah, I mean, at minimum, you're skipping the Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham year. Like
Yeah,
Oscar
I don't
Sheway was a
think
National Player of the Year one of these years. They were a two seed, 26 and 8 and 22.
I think this team's gonna be, if they're not a one seed, I think they're gonna be one of the first two seeds named. I don't think they're gonna lose in the first round like a few of those teams. Um, I think all those teams are better on paper, if that makes sense. It's the Illinois argument, right? Like I even look at this 2019 team. Nick Richards, Nick Richards, Keldon Johnson, PJ Washington, Tyler Hero, Emmanuel Quickly. How in the world does that line up with what Pope has? But those are like majority of them are freshmen. Like Pope's going to get a better result because of the experience he has on the roster too. I also think JQ, if healthy, lines up with anybody Kentucky's had in a long time.
Wow, that's really high praise.
Yeah, I'm very high on JQ, very high.
I mean, yeah, I guess this is kind of the whole thing with Kentucky. Like you're factoring in Mark Pope's capabilities, right? Just his competence. Because if we're just going off like best roster, this isn't better than Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham.
No.
But that frustrated Kentucky fans like crazy. So I don't know. I guess I'll land here. You've talked me into this year's team being better than last year's, although I still don't think they're going to be that much better. I'm not going to go past 2022. And that's the team that lost to St. Peter's, and people will be mad at that. But that team was 14 and 4 in the SEC. They were, I believe, a two seed. They were sixth nationally. They started the season 21 and 4. Like I think that team was insane. Oscar Sheway was the National Player of the Year. Ty Washington, Severe Wheeler, Kellen Grady was a great transfer for that team. I think that team would be better than this year's team.
Yeah, I don't hate that answer. I don't hate that answer. I do think this team is substantially, though, like substantially better than last year's team.
Okay. All right. We're split on that, but I can respect that opinion. Let's go to Louisville. This one might go
Ooh,
back a little bit.
this is a tough one. I think this is going to be the farthest back we go.
I mean, I don't think you're going to take any of the Chris Mack teams over this team. So then
No.
you're looking at one of the last Patino teams.
Oh, you know what? It's not going to go back that far. Donovan's team.
That team wasn't all that special outside of Donovan, though.
But weren't they like a two seed?
They were a two seed. They lost in the round of 32 to a okay Michigan team. 25 and 9 that year, 12 and 6 in the ACC.
I
I
mean,
think I have higher expectations for this year's team than that. I would go back to the year where Rick Pitino, they lost in the Sweet 16, but I think this was the year after they won the national championship. They went 35 and 5, won the national championship, came back the next year, were the number one team all season long, had Montrezl Harrell, Russ Smith, Luke Hancock back. Terry Rozier was in a bigger role, and they lost in the Sweet 16 to Kentucky.
I like that answer. Also, I always forget Terry Rozier was coached by Rick Pitino. It explains so much.
Does explain so much. So, okay, Louisville's going to have their best team in a decade then. That's what we're locking on. UConn's easy just since their last national championship. Do we want to do like Duke? Duke is just since last year.
Yeah, it's last year for me.
Carolina is since the Harrison Ingram year.
Yeah, I mean, well, this Carolina team, like we might want to do worst team since.
Yeah, let's not do that. We'll stop there. Fun exercise. That was good. All right, our second and third topics today are going to be paired together, but for our second topic, let's do five teams that made the NCAA tournament last season that are not going to make the NCAA tournament this season. We have to work together on this. We're going to play a little doomsday here. And let's not just look for like no like flimsy mid majors that we're like, oh, we don't think they're going to go back. Let's look for like the best teams, best programs that had the highest seeds last year that we now think are going to fall out of it this upcoming season.
Okay, I like that. Let's see.
We're
What
looking
is
for five, and I don't know. I can start to nominate some, but I kind of want to just let your brain work for a little bit.
Clemson?
Yeah?
we're like this is just who could fall out of it, right?
I mean, we got to ultimately lock them in as teams we think will officially miss them, and Booby's going to make a graphic about it, so we got to be careful here. But yeah, Clemson lost a lot. They lost a very good team.
I hate that we have a graphics guy now. Um, Terrified when he texted me asking what my Instagram handle was. I assumed I just said something dumb. Clemson, Oklahoma, St. Mary's.
I think St. Mary still gets there some way. I think they'll dominate that. I don't know. Clemson is going to start a guy named Butta. Uh, and Nick Davidson's good. I could see them dominating the ACC still and getting there. Or not dominating, but like beating all the cupcakes. Let,
Baylor?
can I throw a spicy one out?
Yeah.
I saw that this team was on the outside looking in of the latest bracketology release. I think Marquette misses it.
Ooh, I don't hate that.
They refuse to portal. They've lost a lot of talent in recent years. Cam Jones is gone. There's no Kolick, Cam Jonesy replacement like what they had last year. I'll put a chip on Marquette missing it.
Okay, I like Marquette. I like Marquette. What about Georgia? I mean, this is an easy one, but Georgia. They were a 9 seed, so they kind of like follow the rules a little bit, but it is an easy one.
Georgia's an easy one. Georgia, yeah, Georgia's fair. So right now we have Clemson, Marquette, Georgia. Did you say another one that we feel good about yet or no?
Baylor?
Baylor's in a negotiable spot right now.
Baylor, like if we're having to find five, the two that pop up to me that are well, the three that pop up to me that are left are Baylor, Mississippi State, Ole Miss.
I mean, the Ole Miss bet would just be like AJ Store implodes them again.
That feels like a safe bet.
Does feel like a safe-ish bet. Um, Oklahoma loses Jeremiah Fears, and maybe they don't replace him well enough. I
Didn't
want to try and find a spicier one than some of these. Can I? Can
didn't
I?
Oklahoma get Nigel Pack?
They did get Nigel Pack. Can I throw out some spicier ones?
Can I throw out one spicy one? Well, actually,
Yeah.
I think you might throw it out. Actually,
No,
never
you
mind.
do it. You do it. You do it.
People are gonna kill me for this, given what I've said about one specific player on this team.
I know who. Say
Were
it
you
though.
gonna throw it out too?
You say it.
Michigan State.
I don't think I can put Michigan State on this list solely for my own personal well-being, but secondly, it's just Izzo will drag them there. He'll drag a lifeless corpse there anyway.
Yeah. No, ultimately, I think they get in, but caveat, I think it's going to be a lower seed than maybe they want.
Sure.
Ooh, or does the play-in thing count?
Play-in counts.
Okay, yeah, I definitely think they get in then.
Let me hit you with my spiciest nominations. I'm not locking any of these in, but I want to nominate teams. I think there's a non-zero chance they miss the tournament this season. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to start at the top of the list and work down. Maryland. Top 10 team last season, loses the Crab Five, loses their coach. Buzz Williams is in. Buzz Williams rolled the dice on some five-star-ish talents, but they're going to need a freshman in Darius Adams that I don't really believe in to be that good. Pharrell Payne is arguably their best player, and Pharrell Payne is just not that good of a player.
I like that one. I don't believe in Darius Adams, by the way.
Then, if you don't believe in Darius Adams, I like Maryland as a spicy add to this list.
I like
Other ones I think we could nominate that are spicy. I think you said Ole Miss. I like that shout. I'm about to get real spicy.
which one?
There is a world that Kansas misses the NCAA tournament. That this whole Darren Peterson nonsense just fails. They are so much less talented than their last two seasons where they have not been good. I mean, they finished a 7 seed last year and they replaced four positions with worse players this upcoming year.
I agree. I left a couple teams off my list because I think the committee will put them in as long as they have a heartbeat. And I think Kansas is one of those teams.
Kansas is there for you regardless. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's one
Um,
of those like it's the way North Carolina got in last year type of thing. We're gonna screw other people over to get you in.
then maybe your answer is going to be the same for this, but North Carolina.
This is different. because they did it last year and the backlash they got, if North Ca- like I don't think they can do what they did last year again, if that makes sense. Like if you do it twice, people are gonna freak out.
So, I mean, right now we have Clemson, Marquette, Georgia, Maryland. I don't think any of those are that spicy. We have to decide on a fifth. I'm going to let you make the ultimate call here, but I like it out of the spicier group that we've named rather than just like dropping Oklahoma.
I don't know that North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina is spicy because of the name, but they shouldn't have made the tournament last year. I don't think they're necessarily better this year. So I would go North Carolina. But are they I don't do they fit what's the Isaiah Thomas? I fit the criteria, but I didn't get on the team. Do they fit the criteria?
They were in. They were in. So if we think they're not going to make it this year, we can use them.
I definitely, yeah, I don't think they do.
All right, let's put North Carolina in there. I ultimately would bet that they do make it, but I don't know. I just put them on a list of teams that won't, I guess. I just love spice. I guess that's the takeaway from all of this. Let's flip it. Five teams that missed the NCAA tournament last year that will make it this year. We can end on a positive note this time. Same thing. We're looking for like the biggest brands, biggest names, biggest wild card shouts that we can try for here. Going through Ken Palm, I'll just read you the top teams where they finished last year that did not get a bid in order. Ohio State, Northwestern, Indiana, Nebraska. Four Big Ten teams. Then Boise State, SMU, West Virginia, Cincinnati, Villanova, USC. So I think this is going to be a Big Ten heavy list, I would say, if I don't know, the landscape of college basketball holds the same as last season. But who do you think we should nominate first?
I think Indiana gets in for sure. I think that's a lock.
Okay. I don't know that I'd say lock, but I think they're in the mix. Along those lines, I think a lot of people like Iowa, team with a new coach.
I like Iowa a lot. I like Sturts a lot. The other team I was going to name that I think is almost a lock to get into is Villanova.
Okay, I like the shout for them, but I need talk on them being a lock.
The country's desperate for Villanova to be good again. Um, I think they paid a coach a lot of money. They gave him a ton of resources. He brought a Caden Lewis in. They will have the narrative. I don't think they're going to have the same resume as some of these other teams will have to get in.
Big East also feels like it's pretty open, so I do not hate that whatsoever. The only issue, as much as I love Caden, I still hate the rest of the supporting cast. Like they're talking about Devin Askew playing a serious role for that team, which is absolutely terrifying. Let me nominate some that I think are. I have one more wild cardy, and I have a couple that I think are pretty much guaranteed. NC State.
Yeah,
NC State's going to be good, and the ACC is wide open. Speaking of the ACC being wide open, there's two other ACC teams I want to buy, and the more we talk through ACC teams, it's making me think UNC could drop out because the ACC middle of the pack could be better here. I think Virginia's just going to be good, and I know Riley Davis agrees. They got a lot of talent, new coach, new system. I think that's going to work.
I like Virginia. I don't think the one guy they just got eligibility for should be allowed to play, but I do like Virginia since he's able to play.
And then lastly, this one's a shot in the dark. But I believe in Micah Shrewsbury enough that when he gets real talent, I just think it's going to flip for them. Jalen Harrelson is a real talent. He's a five-star McDonald's All-American. I think Notre Dame can be a good team in the ACC this year.
I really like that shot. I think I want Notre Dame on the list too.
That's
I
also a boobyism because Booby's a Notre Dame fan. But Dion, we have one thing here. So now we've named six. We got to trim it to five, and we haven't mentioned the team I think on paper is probably the most likely to be in the tournament this year. It is Ohio State, I think.
That's fair. That's
But
fair. There were
Dion,
two other teams I thought should be on the list too,
name them.
potentially. I think West Virginia gets in this year. I know that there's obviously some bias there. I don't think they're that much worse than last year, and I think last year's team was clearly should have been in the tournament by every metric in the world. I think the Big 12 took a step back a little bit too.
Sure, I think that's fair. I don't like that better than any on the list, though. So I'm going to respectfully decline your nomination of your Mountaineers.
I think there's a lot of teams that miss the tournament that will get in, though.
I think you're probably right.
You
Um,
didn't mention Miami.
we didn't mention Miami, and they could be there.
No. I think Miami's a team that's gonna that's another reason I don't think North Carolina gets in. Like Miami's not that bad either.
Trey Donaldson, some people are calling him Mr. March. Some people are. Ohio State to me would be number one on my list if Jake Diebler wasn't the coach. Is that enough to keep them entirely off the list for you, or should they be there?
Who are the what are the four teams we have
Right.
down?
The ones I think we feel really good about are Indiana, Iowa, NC State, Virginia. And
Okay.
then I think we need to decide a fifth between Villanova, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. I selfishly kind of want to get Notre Dame on here. I also like if we're dropping anyone, I don't want to drop NC State or Virginia. I think I could be convinced to drop Indiana or Iowa. I think they're both going to make it, but I'm not exactly invested in them making it, if that makes sense.
That's fair. I just Indiana's like to me is too talented not to get in, even if they're like a 12 seed.
Okay.
I could be convinced of Iowa, but all they do is win. Like that, the coach Sturts, all they ever do is win.
I think McCollum's the Signetti of basketball too. Like I just think he's a weird psycho small school guy who's like, I win. Just I win. It's gonna keep happening. I win. So I don't know.
I feel like we take him off the list, we regret it 6, 7 months from now.
So let's keep Indiana, Iowa, NC State, Virginia. Then we need to choose between Villanova, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. I could disqualify Villanova due to Devin Askew. I could disqualify Ohio State due to Jake Diebler. I could disqualify Notre Dame just because they've been so bad, but I kind of want to talk my way into Notre Dame here, unless you have a different preference.
Ohio State's the best team. Notre Dame has the best player. Villanova has the easiest route. That's how I would classify each of them. I
I,
think Notre Dame has the best of all three worlds, though.
I want to cut Nova, and I'll let you make the last cut between Notre Dame or Ohio State.
I think Ohio State being in the Big Ten, a very deep conference, is going to make it tough for them with Diebler as their coach. I think I think Notre Dame has not as easy of a route as Villanova, but a similar route in terms of like the schedule is not going to be that bad.
All right, lock it in. Five teams that missed the NCAA tournament last year that will make it this year: Indiana, Iowa, NC State, Virginia, and Notre Dame. One big thing presented by absolutely nobody. Nobody's sponsoring us. Nothing is what we're promoting right now. You could change that, folks. Let us know. Dion, what's your one big thing?
One big thing, Sleepers Got Talent contestants. I just want to shout all of them out for the effort that they put in. I feel like all of them left it all out on the field. They all should be very proud of themselves. And then shout out Booby. Text me back though, big dog. Like you can shoot me like, yeah, yeah, bro. I appreciate it. Like, can't wait to work with you. Because at the moment, like we got a little funk, boobs. We got a little funk.
You and Boobs not getting along. That's crazy. Would never expect that. My one big thing today: MLB trade deadline. Don't get it. Don't understand it. I am what I like to refer to as a seasonal baseball fan. I will show up in October if my team is ready for October. And don't get me wrong, I think my team is ready for October. I've enjoyed watching the Tigers this year. I've watched as many games as possible. It's constantly on in my household. I love this team. Went to playoff games last year. I also did take roughly 6 years off of baseball in general after we traded Verlander and Scherzer because who cares? Those years were miserable. But I'm back on the bandwagon, and let me tell you, people were telling me to get excited for the MLB trade deadline this week. I was really supposed to pay attention. This was life or death. I was paying attention to our baseball channel in the Discord. I was even watching MLB Network. Guys, I don't get it. I straight up don't get it. Like everyone on earth that's a baseball fan just freaks out for 24 hours about like a guy with a 5.27 ERA that's 41. And it's like, oh, we're not gonna get him. What the hell? Our season's over. It's like, dude, the dude's 41 and is getting rocked every time he pitches, and that's the guy that's supposed to save your season. There were genuinely like two guys that matter that were traded on deadline day. Half of the biggest names that were supposed to get traded didn't even get moved. And I don't know. I just feel maybe this is just the Tigers approach because we were like bargain hunting the whole time. but I feel like you could even make the case for almost every other team besides like the Rangers and Mariners that it just everyone's freaking out about bad baseball players. And that's all that it's like if the NBA trade deadline you weren't allowed to trade stars and we were all freaking out about like I don't even know who the best comparison would be like Ron Holland getting traded like it wouldn't matter, none of this would matter, you know.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of like Kelly Oubre's got moved yesterday, and we're trying to make it seem like superstars got moved. I mean, Doval got traded from the Giants, and like Giants Twitter like freaked out. The kid hasn't had a save in 2 years. We should have
Yeah.
traded him years ago. It's very confusing.
Also, it's a great thing that I'm not a GM of a baseball team because I would abandon my farm system so fast. Like
So
I I could not care less.
I saw a tweet yesterday that is hilarious. If JK, you can cut, or Jay Hart, shout out to you. If this tweet is a little much, you can cut it, but I thought it was hilarious. This guy, it was a Padres fan. He goes, fuck them prospects. In 10 years, the Padres will be rebuilding. I'll be divorced and rebuilding my relationships.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta go for some chips, right? You have to. There will always be more prospects. Hopefully, I will avoid using that same approach with our sleepers farm system right now. But with that said, I mean, there probably will come a time that I need to send a Booby and a J Hart and three future J Harts for like one Brian Ralph. And if that happens, I don't know what I'll do. But right now, the Sleepers farm system is really healthy. Would you agree?
Yeah, we have a lot of double AAA guys. I think we position ourselves like really good for next year's trade deadline.
Yeah. I'm just hoping all of our guys aren't Matt Manning, but we'll see. That's the show. We'll see y'all tomorrow.